Hello, everyone. I wanted to share a very short video I wanted to answer a question. Actually, I had a question on one of my shorts. They asked, "What's your favorite book?" I have a really hard time picking a single favorite book. Instead, I'm going to tell you the favorite ones. So here they are: J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. As you can see, they have very beautiful art, kind of a holographic almost look to them. They're little they're beautiful. The best part about these is that the inside has a lot of unique art. And even though this is just the back, you can kind of take a look at it here. I'll go ahead and share some of the inside art work for you now and what makes these on the inside very beautiful. So we're just going to take a look at Jared Tolkien's The Hobbit as an example and illustrated by Alan Lee. He did a lot of these illustrations. Now, the book itself, it's just riddled with all of these really cool drawings. Obviously, a lot of these things are also things the author has created himself, all sort of incorporated in here. But as you can see, you've got all of these just amazing illustrations at the top of some of these pages, right? But the ones especially are going to be these. Just look at how gorgeous the art is, right? You can go online and you can check out all of Alan Lee's work. And there's those guys, the hookers. You just go through, right? It's like, dude, all of these freaking epic little illustrations they just really sort of seal the deal. Right? Come on, take a look at that. Beautiful. The element of these particular books is that the artist did not only a very amazing job of captivating Tolkien's world, but the artist, his particular art form and style, if you watch the Hobbit movies and you watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, those movies, we all know the Hobbit was actually a trilogy too. Could have been done in one movie. Obviously, the studio wanted to squeeze out a lot more from it, just like they did with the Lord of the Rings movies, because it's a pay pig. That's fine. A lot of people have opinions about essentially like how close to the narrative and the canon that Peter Jackson actually stayed. One thing I think is important, and people may agree or disagree with me on this. I think it's extremely important, first of all, to respect the canon of any author. Look, Peter Jackson had to work under certain conditions, right? Any artist is going to want to do things their way, but when you got a studio that has an expectation for you of production, and you've got to basically appease them, the overlords, or the movie's not going to get made, you're between a rock and a hard place. I think Peter Jackson did the best he could do under the circumstances to ensure that he honored the author as much as he could, while also, unfortunately, having to give the studio what they wanted. As a result, you got a trilogy, you got a lot of things that weren't in the book. I can attest to that. A lot of things that are in those movies are not in the book, completely fabricated and created. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty about that. But coming back to my point as to what I love about these, aside from the fact that the story is whimsical, beautiful, and it's written to speak for me, my inner child, and my inner kid as a person is a big part of me writing as an author and creating my own fantasy world. And he was a great inspiration for me. But what I think Peter Jackson did that was very important in those movies, all of them, is he utilized, and very obviously so, anyone who has these books, has the illustrated editions, or has looked at the illustrations that are inside of these pages, you'll notice that nearly all the design for the movies in terms of the set, the environment, all of that, right? The artist, his work literally came to life in cinema, and Peter Jackson did his best to captivate everything beautiful about the author's work, the artists who were involved, and tried to put those into those films. And while it may not have been directly on point with the canon of The Lord of the Rings, or especially even The Hobbit, anyone who's a fan of Tolkien, a true fan of Tolkien, I would say, would have a very difficult time saying that there wasn't clear passion and love for this source material just splattered on every scene that we saw. Um, so anyway, why do I love these so much? It was a These are great examples of how an adaptation into cinema was done, and it was done with a lot of love for anything and everything that could captivate the audience and really bring them into the written works and the illustrated works as much as could possibly be done. So I hope that that was a really good explanation for why I love these books, aside from how much the stories have been such a big inspiration for me. I have a hard time picking any single book or song or movie. I love stories and music and things like that so much that it's just impossible. But I can tell you J.R. Tolkien's work is at the very top for me personally, and has been a huge inspiration for me as an author in developing my own fantasy world. He created a foundation of which many of us fantasy authors can sort of look at as a guidepost for how to do and how to create and bring our fantasy worlds to life. So J.R. Tolkien, Christopher Tolkien, even have been huge inspirations of mine, and all of the works they're there at the top for me. So there you go.